Congratulations on being nominated for Best Dance Film, Best Choreography, and Best Cinematography. Definitely see why. What a beautiful film, what beautiful choreography. First of all, I would love to hear more about what the process was like choreographing this piece.
So To Be Near You is actually a live duet that I made in 2019. And it started, I guess I made it over about 6 months. I was in residency at a studio in Massachusetts and Boston called the Dance Complex. And through that time and space, I was able to just take my time and figure out what this work needed. And so every time I went into the studio, something shifted and changed. And I knew I wanted to make a piece that was it kind of made itself in a way. When it went through many iterations and a little bit dancey, but it all felt kind of false. So I kept taking things away until it was really what you see on the screen. So the live duet is about 13 minutes. And then the challenge for the film is to figure out how to capture that time in a shorter time period. So it really had much to do with the relationship between me and the dancer, Jenna Pollack, and just kind of not being afraid to take our time to let it develop.
So I would love to hear more about how you and Jenna got involved in doing this project together.
So like I said, I had this residency in Boston, and I live about an hour and 20 minutes from Boston, southeast. So having this residency, I really wanted to work with a Boston area dancer, and she had worked with some friends of mine. I had never met her before, and I just kind of sent a cold call and said, hey, do you want to work on this project with me? And luckily she said yes, and now she's one of my dearest friends. So yeah, it was really just me reaching out to her to say, do you want to work with me? And luckily she she agreed.
So this is your second time at ReelHeART. You've been here before. Yeah, so welcome back.
Thank you.
Yeah, so your film Between Silences screened here last year. I would love to hear more about how these two films are connected and differences and similarities between the two.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, so my work is mostly about grief and moving through grief and figuring out how to handle grief. I lost my mom 5 years ago, so a lot of this work has been sort of me processing that major life-changing event. So Between Silences was a film based on a solo that I have called The Most Depressing Piece. And that film I knew I wanted to make, and the location, it was made on Cape Cod. It was really expansive, and it was made with director Rich Ferry, who was director of photography for this film, and also had music by Morgan Eve Swain. That's sort of my team, or it is my team, not sort of. Between To Be Near You has it's a thread, they're connected. They're all part of this larger live work that I'm making called Moments. And for this To Be Near You, we brought on my co-director, Jarret Blinkhorn, who was just awesome in the process. So for this film, I knew I wanted it to be a bit more intimate. I knew it was set in a home. Somehow it just felt like the home provided a container for this dance to live in. I think that the film just captures the essence of this piece so well, sort of the monotony. And Jax, you said meditative, like it's definitely a meditative piece. in the live work, that circling at the beginning takes like 6.5 minutes for us to actually touch foreheads. Where in the film, I think it's definitely faster. So yeah, with Between Silences, it was dealing with my personal grief. And then this To Be Near You for me is kind of wanting to connect with my, like, I feel like it's me wanting to connect with my mom again, just like that one last moment to be near you, or that last moment that I was near you. Like it's kind of, but I really like for people to see what they want in it. But that's, for me, it's this like need for connection yet one more time.
It definitely speaks to that. You can just feel the energy, feel the grief, feel the power. I was like wiping tears away throughout it. So
sorry,
good.
not sorry.
Yeah, it's the way to go. So you mentioned the house, but besides the house, you have such beautiful locations in this film.
No, it was all one location. Yes, so this house is in Newport, Rhode Island. And it's someone that I know, and you walk out of this home and you're in her garden, and then you walk through the garden and you're in the oldest graveyard in Newport. So that was all one spot. We didn't move places at all. Like you can see the graveyard from any window in her house. It's there. And when I was looking for locations, and a friend said, oh, you should talk to Dominique, like her house would be perfect. And then I went to see it and I was like, oh my God, there's a graveyard. I like have to film here. I didn't really want it to be too heavy handed, but yeah, it was all one place, luckily.
Yeah, what an
Sorry
amazing.
to cut you off there. I just got excited.
No, please get excited. Wonderful to hear that. What an amazing place you found. Definitely try to find that place, like Airbnb it. So with that, I'm gonna shoot it on over to my co-host Cameron, who has a few more questions for you.
Hi, Allie.
Hi.
Being that you got the best choreography nomination, I was wondering, in your dance choreography, how much of it is symbolic or emblematic of a feeling, and how much of it is literal?
For me, they're kind of abstract. Like I have a story in my head, but I'm not. It's more of like expressing an emotion. So they're not because I make all my work is extraordinarily gestural, but I can't say that this thing means this one thing. It's like I move and it comes out. So it's more of like the gesture expresses an emotion and I don't really wouldn't be able to articulate that. And I see them as conversational. So in my head, I'm having like a conversation with the gestures are having a conversation, but it's more of a feeling rather than a word.
Yeah, it does feel like a conversation at times, because there's a scene where one of the subjects is behind a blurred window. I have an idea, but I was wondering what you were trying to make the audience feel.
So with that in particular, I was trying to create distance, but still have us be occupying the same space. So like if you're in the kitchen and someone else is in the other end of the house, you're in the same place, but occupying very different spaces. So I was trying to show distance, create more distance when we really couldn't. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean, because they kind of, they come close and then they go back out.
Right. Yeah. So I wanted to show that they weren't there, but they were there.
Right. I got you. And one more thing, I was wondering, what part does it play in your healing process through the grief? Does this film play for you?
It's such a cathartic thing for me because we perform it live as well. Each time I can like drop into that, it's like I can release a little bit of pain. Because grief never leaves, it just kind of evolves. So for me, it's like if I can share that with someone and start a conversation, because we don't talk about grief all that much. We try to like hold it in. I'm fine. It's all good, but like we're not fine. And it continues for a really long time. So for me, if this can start conversations around grief and how we can heal, how that heals you, because if you can share a little bit of it, then I think it kind of helps relieve a little bit. So that's really what I'm hoping the film can do, is just start conversations and find ways for other people, for them to express their grief, because not everyone has to be a dance. Like any move, walking through the forest can be a dance, and that can help.
What is next in the works with you? And will you be working again with either some of your co-directors or Jenna again?
Yeah, so right now so all of this work is compiled into a live evening length work. Then I'm getting ready to, I have a preview in August and then a premiere in November. I just made a triptych of a duet between these two wonderful dancers, Jessie Stiegel and Ilya Vidrin. And so I'll be making dance films out of those 3 duets. Hopefully, I'm not sure when, but it's within this year. I hope to get the team back together. So yeah, Rich Ferry, Morgan Swain, Jarret, Blinkhorn are my team. It just seems like magic happens when we come together. So I'll stick with them. And yeah, so we've got more films coming and live work coming.